my name is Danielle, and I have a lifelong passion for cooking. I'm a wife, a mother of 4, and a strong advocate for a vegan, plant-based, organic lifestyle. Over the last 10 years, I've been honing in my vegan, plant-based skills, and I'm here to bring them to you in my Plant Beach Family Kitchen. Hi, and welcome to my Plant Beach Family Kitchen. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to make homemade pasta. And you don't have to be afraid of this. It's really easy. It's just a little muscle, a little work in there, and you could have delicious, eggy, eggless vegan pasta. And I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. So in this bowl here, I have psyllium husk powder, and it's similar to like what a flax egg would do or a chia egg. It's taking the place of an egg. So I'm going to add some water to that, and again, you can check the end of the episode for the exact measurements. And then I'm just going to give it a little whisk and set it off to the side while I get the rest of the ingredients ready. And you'll see it'll start to kind of set up and get a little bit more gelatinous. Okay, this is a little bench flour. All right, so what I have here is 3½ cups of flour, and I like to do a mix. I like to do the unbleached flour, and I like to do the whole wheat flour. I use heirloom flours, so I'm trying always to get the best quality that I possibly can. So this is gonna get a little messy. You could do it in a bowl if you wanted to, but hey, bring the kids out. This is fun for them. This is fun for adults. Just tap into your inner child and it'll be okay. What I like to do is add turmeric powder to this because not only is it wonderful health benefits for you, but it gives it that color that we all come to expect with a homemade pasta because it's using the eggs, and the egg yolk provides that yellowy color. So not only are we bumping up the health benefits by keeping the turmeric in here, but we're also keeping it healthy and vegan. Next thing I like to do is add this salt. It's a sulfur salt, and it really has that eggy flavor to it. And again, I'll at the end of the video you can see what kind of salt this is because I can't really pronounce it. So and you can find it. Hey, if you can't find it, don't let this stop you from making the recipe. It just does lend that flavor. And when you put the liquid to it, it's really gonna smell sulfury. And you might think at first, is this gonna taste good? Because, woo, that's a strong smell. But it definitely dies down, okay? So, and you won't even notice it when you cook because it'll just kind of be part of the pasta. But there is an undertone of that eggy flavor because of the salt. Okay. Then make a little well here in the center. You want to build up your sides and pour the liquid in the middle. I know, see? I promised fun. Then what you're going to do is you can take a fork or you can use your fingers, and what you want to do is you kind of want to pull from the edges of your well and really just mix that in. And that eggy sulfur smell it's right away it comes up. But again, have no fear, it will be muted. It won't taste like that or smell like that once everything is incorporated. Okay, so we're mixing that in, and once it looks like it's coming together with the flour, then we'll get our hands in there. The process takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. And when you sit down to a family dinner, or even if you're just making this for yourself, sometimes you just want to have a nice meal, this is definitely a go-to. Okay, so you could see how, look, it's come together and it's not overly wet right now. So this is where I can start to get my hands into there and start to fold. And when you're folding and kneading, it's like you're bringing it in and you're pushing it away from you. You're bringing it in and you're pushing it away from you. And you really want to do this for about 10 minutes. I know it seems like a long time, but you will be rewarded with beautiful, tender pasta that you just cannot get out of a box. Okay, so again, look at that. You're bringing it together with your hands and you're pushing it forward. All right. Bringing it together, pushing it forward. bringing it together and pushing it forward. And you'll see it starts to come together. And when it comes together, you really, really want to tap into your great grandmother and just really work it here. And you can also consider this a workout for your arms, because you do have to put a little bit of effort into it. Okay, so we're just gonna fold, keep incorporating the flour. And this is where, if you have older kids, you can get them involved, because then they get to do all the work. All right. Whenever I'm doing this, I always think about my grandmother. And when I was growing up, when she was still alive, we always used to have pasta on Sunday. My grandmother is, my father's father is 100% Italian, and my father's mother's Lithuanian, and my mother is Albanian. So I have a long line of family who cooks, and a long line of family who, you know, have these working arms. So I just try to tap into that and bring that into the dish. You know, they talk about putting love into a dish. Well, that is exactly what we're doing here. All of our energy and our effort, and as you're looking here, you can see this dough is starting to come together. And at this point, you see it's here, but it's still kind of like cracking and stuff. This is when you still want to keep going, because what you're looking for is a nice, smooth dough. You're looking for it to become one, really. So there's no more pieces cracking. And we'll show you that in a little bit. And you can see I'm even, you know, starting to breathe a little bit heavy. It's work. But hey, it's worth it. Okay, and you can start to see it coming together now. It's starting to get nice and smooth, like a baby's bum. You can see right here how nice and smooth. And then what we're gonna do after it comes together here, you just wanna kind of wrap it, you know, make it nice there. And then you wanna take your saran wrap and cover it. And then you want to just leave it on the counter for about 10 minutes. And the reason why is because right now we just developed all the gluten in the pasta, and it needs to rest. So that is what we're going to do. We're just going to set it off to the side. We're going to let it rest for a little bit. And then I'm going to clean this up, and then we'll get started on the second half. Okay, so after 10 minutes, you just want to go ahead and grab your dough, and you can see it's nice and rested. You can even see if I put my finger in it, it springs back a little bit, you know, but not completely. There's a little bit left there. So that's kind of what you're looking for. Now, if you do not have a KitchenAid with the pasta attachments, do not let this stop you from making this recipe. You just grab a rolling pin and roll it out, and then use a knife or a pizza cutter to cut the shapes that you want. So you don't have to have this to make it. It just makes life easier and makes it more precise. Okay. And if you do have this and you haven't got it out in a while, now's your time to do that. Okay, so always want a little bit of bench flour around, and I like to flour my knife. And then you want to cut your dough in quarters, because you're only going to be working with a quarter at a time, or else it's just way too much dough. Okay, and then the ones that are still left here, you want to, again, wrap it back up. Now, if you had your rolling pin, this would be at the point at which you would, you know, roll it out. But I'm going to show you how to use this. So you just want to press down on your dough a little bit. Get it into like a nice rectangle. Flour it up just a little bit. And then you're going to put it on the first dial. This machine here has dials, and one is the thick, the most widest, and then it gets thinner and thinner. So you're just going to put this through. And then here's the technique. You put a little bit of flour, fold it into thirds, press it again, and send it through. And what's this doing is just reinforcing the pasta, and this way it won't have holes in it or anything like that. So again, fold it into thirds, and we're still on the first level. We're on level 1 still. And after you do that a couple times, then you can just start to move on to the other dials. And you'll see as it gets, you know, it'll get thinner and thinner. Then I like to move it to the dial 2. Okay, get a little bit more flour on here. And again, this is a real fun project to do with your children. They love it. They love to get their hands in there. I'm going to fold it over one more time on the dial 2. All right, now, real time. You see how that happened? There's a little bit of stretch to the dough. Don't worry if something like that happens. Back up your dial, add a little bit more flour, so now we're back on the 1, and I'm going to send it through one more time. All right, perfect. And now we're going to just move on. Back to dial 2, send it through. Dial 3, and as we're increasing the dials, it's getting thinner and thinner. And if you have any little dough that's like hanging off, that you can just use your knife and give it a little cut. And here's dial 4, and that's where I like to stop. So at this point, we have a nice flat dough. And if you, I'm just going to show you the one just for the sake of time, but then what you would do is you would flour this, okay, give it, you would have some nice flour. You would do your other dough and then just place that on top. So at this point, you can keep it like this, and maybe you will make raviolis out of it. Or you could take a little, like a little pinch of it like this, okay? You could, you know, pinch it together and make like a little, you know, make a little bow tie. So you could kind of do, you know, different pasta shapes. See, you can pinch it together and do homemade bow ties. So you can do any of those things. Today we're going to do a little fettuccine. So I am going to use my fettuccine blade. And again, at home, you can certainly just cut the shapes that you prefer. But and then I want to show you when you're putting it into a tray, okay, you want to flour the tray. Always thinking you don't want it to stick. And then as it comes through, you have the beautiful fettuccine. Okay, and then you put it into your pan and give it a little extra flour, toss it around, and let me just pull up a strand for you here. As you can see how beautiful that is, the thickness. And then what we're gonna do is take you on over to the stove, and see, it does leave a little bit of mess, but hey, that's part of it. And if you have kids, you know, they can clean it. Okay, so come on over here. The beautiful thing about homemade pasta is it truly cooks in 3 minutes and it's done. So you could even do this on a Saturday or Sunday, and you could put these noodles just like this, coated in flour, on your tray. You could put it in the fridge for a couple days and then use it. It'll still be fine. One of the most important things I'm going to tell you in this episode is right here, and this holds true for homemade pasta or dried pasta. You must salt your water. And as there's a famous chef, and he always says, salt it to the salinity of the sea. But really what's happening here with the salt, it's your one and only chance to season the pasta itself. So you want to think of it as an element for your dish. You're seasoning it, so when the pasta goes into the water, it is going to you know, embark that flavor. Okay, so here it goes, dropping it in. And then take your tongs and give it a nice little toss. And it's gonna go quick, literally 3 minutes in this pot. Okay, and in the meantime, we'll get our sauce ready. If you refer to one of our previous episodes, I made a Sunday sauce, a pasta sauce, and feel free to make that. It's quick, it comes together, and here it is. So just look that up in one of our other YouTube episodes. So again, let's talk about the pasta. You want to think about the pasta sauce as an accompaniment to the actual pasta. You don't want it to be drowning in sauce. So, you know, this is the traditional way to dress it. So a little bit of sauce, the nice pasta, and don't forget, the pasta water itself you can use to thin out, because the pasta water is really like liquid gold. It can bring a sauce together. Like if you do a nice little lemon and garlic sauce, you use the pasta water and it really just brings the sauce together as one. So you don't throw away the pasta cooking water. Now that does not hold true if you're using a brown rice pasta or a quinoa pasta or one of those pastas. It will make it gummy. So only use it if you're using like the wheat or semolina pastas, okay? All right, so this is definitely come to the point. You can see it's floating to the top. Let me show you a strand. Very hot. So you can see the strand, it's nice, chewy. It has, I mean, it has that flavor of traditional homemade pasta without the eggs. This is the good one. I'm proud of myself for this. Okay, put it in the sauce, because again, you want to marry the sauce and the pasta together. And I always like to use a little bit of that cooking water, just to bring it together. And toss it in there. Look at that. Comes together beautifully. And of course you can top it with basil or like some type of you know, seed or nut sprinkle that you might have, or just for visual effects, a lot of times I will just sprinkle hemp seed on top and it really makes for a beautiful presentation. Okay, so here you go. Pasta. Homemade pasta with a nice Sunday meat sauce. Let's go over here and take a nice taste. Right where all the flour is. Okay, look at that. Again, you know what, before I take that taste, I want to show you this presentation that I'm talking about. Just to dress it up, here's my jar of hemp seeds. And you see here it is right here. You just add a little bit of that on, and it just kind of gives you that visual cue of like what a Parmesan cheese would be or something like that. So, okay, wow, this looks good. And you can see the noodles hold up. Right away, it smells incredible. Wow, the texture is chewy. The flavor is just tomatoey and bold, and it reminds me of childhood, and this is worth it. So please, I encourage you to make it. I'm gonna go curl up and enjoy the rest of this all by myself. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so I can keep delivering these recipes. Let me know what you like. Let us know. Be sure to comment. Let us know if you've tried the recipes and how they've turned out for you. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.